Welcome to Season 1, Episode 3 of the Your Success Tonic podcast. In this episode, I want to share with you the biggest question that helped me get clear on how to stop feeling overwhelmed and saying yes to too many things. Now, listen, I've worked with so many successful, high-achieving entrepreneurs and executives who have so many accomplishments to be proud of. And despite that, they feel burnt out, exhausted, and unfulfilled. They sense that there's a deeper meaning behind everything. And they came into this world to discover a sense of purpose and calling and direction. And yet they don't know what it is. And what they're doing isn't getting them any closer to it. And they can't see the path toward it. Can you relate? I certainly do. When I was in that situation, I tried to strategize and figure out how to move forward. And what I discovered was that no amount of doing or action taking was going to get me out of the state of overwhelm that I was in. But I'm here to tell you that the path forward is actually simple. What it requires is for you to subtract a lot of things. My journey was that I had to get very clear on what I wanted to create in my life and in my business. And then, this was the key, I had to stop spending time on anything else. Now, this was really hard. It required getting ruthless and taking away a lot of things off my shoulders, such as spending time on social media, building a program with a partner who wasn't as committed as I was, and so picking up all that slack, volunteering with organizations that I believe in, going to networking events I didn't enjoy, but told myself I should go to, and of course, working 60 or more hours a week. Now, let me tell you, getting clear and building momentum required me to say no a lot, and it was painful. Because I see the potential everywhere. It's very exciting and it's fun to get involved, and I love to connect with people and be of service above all. So of course I want to do everything, and of course I want to help out, and of course I'm going to jump all in and do that. But what I want to share with you is the question that stopped me from doing that, because I was wearing myself out. And here's the question that helped me the most. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to as a result? And the shift from that question was very powerful. So allowing myself to go all in on one thing at a time meant that I freed up a lot more resources for the things that mattered most. I was creating more time, but I was also freeing up more mental energy. And the positive progress that came from focusing on one thing at a time actually reinforced my desire to keep doing that because it was working. It meant I was doing fewer things really well rather than many things as well as possible, and spreading myself way too thin. An important part of this process was understanding that saying no to something doesn't mean that you're saying no to everything. So let me give you an example. I was having a conversation with a client a few months ago, and she was discussing how it felt impossible for her to carve out time for herself and her family. And the reason was that her work was all consuming. And she said, how do I say no when people are expecting me to say yes, when my paycheck requires me to say yes? So I asked her to get specific on what it was that she wanted and needed to say no to. So in her case, the big one that she started with was saying no to taking work calls after 6 p.m. When we dug into that, we figured out that the big fear that was triggering her to take those work calls at night, which were wreaking havoc on her personal life, we discovered that the fear that was motivating her to do that was that she was saying no to her next promotion. But saying no to taking work calls at home meant that she was saying yes to her family and her personal needs and balancing her work and her family life. And for women in the workplace, all too often, we're saying no to ourselves and no to our needs and our families. So the cost is actually really high. And worse than that, it's not getting us closer to what we truly want and need. Am I right? I'm imagining you're saying yes. Now, this is the exciting bit. Do you want to hear the results of her making that decision and saying no? She feels way more focused in her workday, and she feels more fulfilled at work because she is not working all day long and all night long. And even more powerfully, she's actually getting a lot more done than before. And she not only got that promotion that she was hoping for, but she also received a lot of positive feedback and attention for the work that she was delivering. So if you're overloading yourself with saying yes to everything that you feel you should be doing, remember that you're actually narrowing down your options. You're limiting your ability to think creatively, and you're limiting dramatically your capacity for fulfillment. And also, I want to add a note about doing things out of obligation or saying yes when we know in our gut that it's not 100% what we want. If you say yes to something or someone that's not right for you, or that even makes you a little bit unhappy, or even a little bit resentful, you're also saying yes to all the problems that come with inviting that situation into your life. You're saying no to what you need. You're saying no to what you deserve. You're saying no to what you really want, what you desire. So the thing I really want you to take away from this is that every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. And that something else might be the thing that you really want. Now, that realization was a huge shift in thinking for me, and it has been for my clients too. I see big rewards that I really wanted to share that with you. So when we're able to focus in and say yes to the things that are going to directly lead us toward our most exciting goals, then we can say no, or even not now, to anything else. And when we do that, that's when true change and quantum leaps come in. Getting very clear on the things that you're shutting down by saying yes to too many things removes so many of the hidden barriers that commonly block us from gaining clarity, from tapping into our potential, and from creating that life of meaning and purpose that we so desperately crave. Now, if you feel that you're not on the growth path that you want to be on, ask yourself this: are you working on too many things at once? The answer is possibly yes. And if you're doing that, there's a good chance that you're also feeling overwhelmed. And if you are, I want to invite you to the Overwhelm mini workshop happening Thursday, December 15th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be giving you a couple of tools to release that sense of overwhelm quickly. Now, this is going to be an intimate live experience in my Zoom room with only 12 spaces. And as of this recording, 9 spots have already been taken. So grab one now. Will I see you there? I hope so.